Okay, so I've asked you and I've given you the task of taking a photograph of yourself or kind of perfecting your selfie game. Some of you will upload them from your DSLR. Some of you may have something on your phone that you want to utilize. For this project, I'm fine with that. But what I want to make sure that you realize is it should be a shot that you can actually work with. Our end point, again, it's kind of a little funky. Our end point is going to be quite varied. You could end up with a zombie. You could end up just looking kind of undead. You can end up looking more fairy-like. You could end up looking more like I have here, it's a Day of the Dead skull, of which there are different layers with each of the different components that have been placed upon there to give it some kind of a look, okay? I do have a file that has a lot of these different aspects, like the eyes and the facial paint and the roses and the crowns and things like that. But I figured I'm going to show you with probably a very basic one to start with. And that's for those of you looking to kind of make yourself a little bit undead. First things first, I'm going to Control J, okay? Over that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a layer. Again, I'm going to move quick because it's a very short video. Making a new layer. On this layer, I'm going to call that one Face Green so you remember what that's all about. And on this layer, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick kind of a funky green and a soft brush. Don't forget your brackets. Right bracket makes your brush bigger, left bracket makes your brush smaller. So if I come in here and I kind of paint around my face, I'm feeling a little green today. Notice I kind of stayed away from my eyes. If you don't stay away from your eye, notice my opacity is at 42. That's why I wasn't getting that full dark green. So if you just go over, you know, if I use maybe a bigger brush and I go a little bit faster, what you can do on here is you can later on use your eraser to remove what's in your eyes. Or right here, I got it on the hair. I could reduce my opacity and take it away from my eyes, for example, okay? So with that, I'm going to put that back up. Now you can see I just am playing sort of hide and seek with you right now, just staring at you with my eyes. Now, if you go back to those layer styles, remember there was kind of a rhyme and reason by what I was showing you and how to use it. Your layer styles where we went and changed the color of your leaf. You can now, again, click on the first one. Once this is in blue, I could use my arrows on my keyboard and I can start to actually translate this as part of my face. This is, that one's pretty cool. It's multiply. I'll show you how to lessen the effect there. Color burn, linear burn. You can see some don't really do it any kind of justice. Like, I think some of those are just maybe too light. I think I'm going to go back to here. Multiply, and then I'm going to reduce my opacity maybe a little bit to work with it, okay? Now I can also, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn that off, I'm going to also show you how you can give yourself some darkened eyes. This, right in here, is a really important tool set for this. So the three tools here, first of all, there's a dodge tool. Dodge means to selectively lighten an area, okay? Burn means selectively darken an area. If you forget what's what, obviously when you burn, something turns darker. So you just remember this has to be the opposite. And then your sponge tool, which we're not going to really talk too much about right this moment. But if I'm going to burn, if you look up here, there are three ways to use burn. You could darken your shadows, your midtones, or your highlights. So with that, I also have an exposure level. My exposure's at 50%. I think that's a great place to start. It's kind of in the medium. If you go higher, it will act faster. Lower, it will act slower. Now you have to look at what you're burning. I'm going to burn some darkness around my eyes. And this darkness around my eyes, I'm going to burn it. I'm going to start with my midtones and see what that does. So I'm going to go ahead. And again, I remind you, don't forget, I need to press enter to accept. I have a copy of it. So if I do too much, I can go ahead and delete that and then just copy J or Control J again to get that back. So if I'm coming in here, I'm clicking and burning in my midtone. So it went from this to this. it didn't do that much. Because my skin in here and the picture itself is pale, I'm going to have to burn in my highlights instead. I press enter to commit to that. When I burn in my highlights though, I've got to be a little bit more specific simply because it will act very quickly. So you can see I'm burning in those highlights. I'm going to make the brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to come down the front of the face. Okay, so I kind of went from that to that right there. I may want to dodge a little bit in the eye if I accidentally went too close in there. I'm going to go ahead and make it really small. I'm going to dodge a little bit perhaps in there. And then when I turn this back on, you can see that it's getting me somewhere with darkening in there. I can also work on this layer while my face green is turned on. So I can go back and I can burn some more. Maybe I'll go with a very small brush and really burn that in and really give it a darkened appearance. Now I can also work into the eyes, and I'm going to actually zoom in. I'm going to give myself some red eyes. And on this layer, I'm going to go ahead and rename it by clicking on the word. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some color into there. Now, first of all, make sure you're on the correct thing. I accidentally was not on my brush. Again, it's going to look a little bit fake. Notice I didn't do a lot around the outside. I like a little bit of dark on that rim. I can always clean that up because it's on a layer by itself. So if I go up there, I'm like, oops, I don't want that there. I can take that off. Of course, my brush is too big. There we go. I can take that off, okay? Now on the eyes, same thing goes. I could come in and I can start clicking down. And you can see that that's kind of a very deep red. I like those beginning. Oh, that one's good. Now I'm going to probably come in there again. I'm going to go with that eraser. And I'm going to clean up. Here we go. What are we stuck? Oh, we're stuck on overlay. Okay. I'm going to clean up those highlights and I'm going to bring them back to white. Just for a little bit more believability when you look at the big thing. Okay. So you can see if that's a little too intense, you can go ahead and reduce the opacity on that as well. And you could change that pretty much to whatever colors you want. Again, go to those lips. Let's say I just want to put like a darker value in there. Paint those in. Again, I'm going really quick. Please zoom in and go slower than mine. Let's pretend that that looks good. I can go back and clean it up. It's a great part about working on separate layers. Please, one of the biggest things I want you to learn here is about working on separate layers, because you want to be able to clean that up and get it kind of where you need it to be. You need to be able to clean up that lip without worrying about erasing the green from your face. Okay? And then perhaps on this one, maybe I'll go to darken. Maybe I'll find that while I'm tabbing through here, like maybe I like that one, overlay, which makes it just a darker version of green. I think that's, like that obviously would not be a good idea. It doesn't look very good. So again, you want to start to look at that, and you're going to kind of make yourself look a little bit more non-human, we'll say, or non-living. You can also come in there. Oop. If you get that come up, just press escape. Lips, and let's go hair. Last thing I'm going to show you in here is a little simple something on hair. You could pretty much choose whatever you want. I'm just picking a random color. Let's see what happens. You can kind of come in there. Let's go with, I don't know. I'm going to kind of see what happens here. I may like it. I may hate it. I may delete this layer and completely start over again. And then we'll go with a green of some kind. Okay, same thing. Let's move up here. Let's see what happens. And again, depending on what color you choose to put down, you may not do like a bunch of kind of bright colors like this. Maybe you'll do some darker colors and add just a few little highlights of something. Like let's say I kind of like that. I can actually reduce the opacity of it. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but let's say you like that, but you don't like the chunkiness. There's one last tool I want to show you. That's located right here in the brush palette here. It's called a mixer brush. When you have a mixer brush, you could grab that color. I'm going to use this fan brush up here. You can grab that color on that layer, and you can sort of like pull it around. See how I'm clicking and it's dragging it? It allows it to, I would say just allows it to mix a little bit more. Notice I'm going in the direction of the hair instead of it being directionless. It is really important that you do go in the direction of the hair. Notice here, I'm actually going to pull that color up into that red. Okay? Whatever color you pull from, it's going to pull it down over the other color. So again, you can see I'm at a stage where, let's say I'm going to go back and I'm going to burn in, working into this eye now. Maybe I want to change the color of this eye. Notice I went over a little bit here. I'm going to probably undo that and just, again, work much more carefully not to go into my hair. So again, those are some just ways that I want you guys to take some time to work into a portrait. Just have some fun with getting this to be a little bit different. You know, you can emphasize the shadows if you want. I might burn in right here on the hairline. Maybe I should go back in to my face green. Let's say I forgot what green I used. Use your eyedropper. Grab that same green. Go to your regular brush. Now don't forget to switch it back and work it back up into that hairline. And then you go back and you start burning it in. Again, it's a process of just trying some different things. Really trying to just be a little bit different with it. And a good layer organization will be a lot of fun and really, really important with this. So again, not completely done. I would work further into this eye, give more red in there. Maybe I would yellow up the outside of the eye, right where the whites of the eye are. But it's a way for you to try something different. After you've done one portrait, we're then going to move to the second. This one should be fast. This is just for you to kind of mess around and understand it. Some of you will then repose for your picture. You will want something that looks a little bit more maybe matching what your final will be, whether it be like a skull-related thing or more of a ghoulish zombie. I will show you how we're going to add brushes on here. Like on here, I have a brush that gave me amazing eyelashes, and I absolutely do not have amazing eyelashes. But if you look, you can actually see the beautiful eyelashes that it put on me. Because I have some brushes that I will be sharing with you. You can see some of those things right in here with some fantasy-looking eyelashes and things like that. So that is where we are right now. And then what we're hoping to do is one last, that will be a big point assignment, so keep that in mind. That will be a little bit fancier, a little bit more involved. Again, whether it be a skull-related piece like this, or it be something a little bit more ghoulish and zombie-like. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get you guys moving with this particular piece. Again, the tools I want you to be thinking about using would be your Dodge Burn. I also would like for you to use your mixer brush tool and then use your layer styles and learn how to manipulate these images to really make it fantastic. Finally, opacity, really, really important to reduce the effect on something. Let's say you love this eye, but it's not bright enough for you. One cool thing is you can Control J the eye layer and you can make it happen even more. Do you see how it's multiplying that? So I can keep going, obviously. I don't want to keep going because it's just going to turn solid red. But you can see all my eye copies there. And I'm going to go ahead and delete those and get it back to the one that I like. Maybe it's that one. Maybe I really like that. I personally think that that's just enough for me. And that is it. Have fun with it.